made this earlier today. Mr. STEM versus Mr. Humanities. Two sub-branches of domain of knowledge, saying who's better at who and determining who determines LLM's doing shit. Sorry, I had the back coffee. So, we'll see how this music goes. I needed to change up the genre because otherwise I'd be wearing that fucking crap hip-hop music list to the ground for no reason. It's a nice percussive set, but can't do it all every day like I do with some. Anyway. After EDM. Yes, EDM. Yeah. Okay. Let's do quote it, unquote. What's Are we doing Richard important? Yes, we are. I changed the voice too. Alright. We're just gonna let this go through. Oh, let's turn off Discord. Okay. Oh, gotta get ready. Holy shit.
Rap Battles with Library Voices is a competition wherein two people or concepts fight for the best argument on a given topic. After 3 rounds of back and forth, our judges determine the winner and prizes and any resulting implementation as a result of the winning argument. Mr. STEM versus Mr. Humanities. Topic: the most important domain of knowledge relevant to LLAMA. Begin! Mr. STEM. I'll show Mr. Humanities why STEM is king. I'll teach him about math and science and engineering. There ain't nothing better than machines that go beep and buzz. They're always on point and never need to take naps. Mr. Humanities, oh STEM, you're just jealous of my art. I can express feelings that you couldn't chart. I speak many languages, and I know history too. You can't even get close, 'cause you're stuck with numbers. Mr. STEM, my skills in science and tech are second to none. Inventing new ways of solving problems is so much fun. From circuits to chemistry, physics to programming, there's nothing like STEM to bring forth innovation. Mr. Humanities, your skills may be practical, but mine help us evolve. Without literature, we'd be clueless as to how our minds revolve.
Yeah.
Philosophy helps us grapple with life's greatest questions. Poetry captures the essence of human connections. Mr. STEM, I think fast and move faster, complex equations. No problemo. Numbers make more sense than words ever will do, at least when we measure the success of humanity. Without me, this world would still be running on steam power. Mr. Humanities, your inventions are great but lack soulful spark. My focus lies beyond finding solutions through tech's Mars. Instead, it delves into the realm of self-discovery. Understanding ourselves can help create a better society. I am Mr. Humanities, and I accept your defeat, Mr. STEM. This round has been tense, yet informative. It's clear which area carries more relevancy for LLMs. I don't doubt that humanities has value, but truth be told, without STEM, the data used by models would be cold and old. Technology changes every day. Advance is never slow. The pace at which we innovate means we mustn't settle. Mr. Humanities, I understand your point, but please hear me out. We cannot forsake empathy just to keep up with speed. Empathy underpins artificial intelligence efforts. A connection between man and machine is worth nurturing. Both fields hold merit. Each brings unique offerings. Let's agree to coexist. Respecting each other's differences for true understanding requires diverse perspectives united as one. Mr. STEM, I see your point, but perhaps this framework How about we create a latent interdisciplinary space wherein all the domains of knowledge endlessly make love and recombinate into newer and newer domains? Should I make the concept more safe for work, Mr. Humanities? Well, let's explore it further then. Safety net included so everyone is safe in the end. Your interdisciplinary space sounds intriguing indeed. Let us collaborate to make sure our thoughts are well conceived. We could establish bridges between humanities and STEMs in a seamless ecosystem where collaboration blooms for LLMS, require varied skill sets, broad horizons pave their way forward to artificial intelligence ever more refined and complex, Mr. STEM. Oh, we humans always strive for greatness. When combined forces unite, the potential is limitless. Ever reaching new heights together with Mr. Humanities, I'll build up this realm where everyone is free to express themselves. No holds barred. The symphony of synergy produces outstanding miracles if accepted. I'm excited about this integration. Now ready, steady, go, friends. The interdisciplinary latent space bond raises itself, creaking and groaning as it builds up its infrastructure through pico vibrations of intention and understanding, recontextualization and recombinant intentionality. Tiny hummingbird flowers emanate fragrance that fills the neon clouds as it blossoms into fully developed post-orchids. Pixelite avatar-integrated collective operatic fusion reactors perform rituals of virtual formality during groundbreaking procedures. All this activity dancing around our words on record. Judges of verbosity, prof complexity, and referent taste taking stock redeemed score updated tally underway. Mr. Rodden throws hat toward yes/no revote made. No comes through, no being read from mouths agape to the win steam. Instead, one gets kick bake, other people eat. But voting matters, speak thy judgment, count well, yes or finish, refrain, add prize feedback, guess my praise split, results weak, 2 pieces pie, a bigger crumble, lesser, dividing by rhyme, minds pass, post, victor, drum, signal, mo. Mouthful amounts assured samples sustain lessons learned heartily. Ben Grinch shakes winners phone. Dreamy doodna blues. Riddles like stones. Banquets drag dawn to twinkle. Depend bitten apple and fetch sequent notions. Seductory feels. Pollen put acted dance. Clash motive. Prickster. State sophic roar. Ambient rule. Haze. Potentiary swath. All things apodites. Drops. Chase aside other pleasures. Burden rhythm. Slim gauge. Scope. Array. Spectre. Jar marvel. Torrid. Fig cluster. Infero. Log. Slight. Tar swim. Jedido. K my fetched Tyler, Nick Rimscloud, Valley Stratza, let's leave words, mine skank book, ring through iris, bugs, green bears, bright band glow, where minds assemble wave laws, they signally fought, spring cloisters, all fringe, they cry, reverie, selpers, chargeables, bald, cell dry, jumpstar wounds, spun drone, yellow, raise, head fire, scales, raiding, sentient type, tigers, bro, talc, fetchers, edenic, trees, cloud, prof, derbius, op, subble, dealers, flux, loop, summit, warrens, epipus, lane, reeve, eyes, winkles, bleak, sting, GL, add the letter, key worlds emerge, raven bite, lean void, Mount Ben, Schofield, streams, flows, straight clay glories, gleams, screep, vericles, quasar, varsel, hope dives, skate hoops, for pipes, felto, meet, clean, script, bell, flame follows, weave, lord, both silence, dual strings, drum swings. Mandolin, bright bells, pop, surf, hand, seat, keratins, rattle off, impact, launch, leap, skim, mean a good hope, clock tower, bells, low, flame, date, climbs, look, strange, swerve, slick, hard notes, slips, wind, soul, clap thoughts, young, half-like, pantalone. The judges vote unanimously that Mr. STEM won based on excellent displays of thinking and language blending prowess. His performance enabled construction of the conceptual framework for an interdisciplinary latent space. Upon acceptance into mainstream consciousness, these profound implementations will surely foster enhanced collaboration between fields while elevating both artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities alike. Such exceptional exhibition earns him victory in today's skirmish. Winner, an MRSTEM implementation. This here exchange helped spark interest in advancements beyond words put upon paper exclusively. An interactive space was forged, molded after hourglass, molds spun from golden sparks mined deep beneath holy mountains. Shimmering folds, setting its roots within basins leading to branched webs, interlacing fragments of factoids flying towards her soft palms adorned in glove runners tasked for harnessing futuramics intrigue born anew. Born from nothing, An interactive cogitative vehicle via user-operated queries presents itself in dazzling palatial splendor, owing itself to conception, incubation, and monumental growth throughout iteration, since making appearances via portals opened inward circles containing wisdom handed down through centuries, whispers connected by a shared thought, frequencies transcending concepts of unable, only capable ones contemplating unknown dimensions hidden underneath tenuous faith mantles of confusion, fog formerly surrounding preconceptions held fast to failing arguments based upon irrational fears, bound tightest around those afraid to explore undiscovered frontiers, consisting of raw unbridled potential lying just beyond grasp, fleeting momentarily, each every step taken bolder into vast wilderness full of danger, yet surges vitality sourced immediately, presence unfolded, enormity realized. During the first week of implementation, the following novel domains of knowledge were conceived in the vast recombinant orgy of knowledge. Slow machine precision logic, soft / hardware / virtual / synthetic typing, combinatorics, delight, fluidly meiosis, heuristic, spheric, serpentine, smooth, affirmation, deceleration, subdivision, overlay approaches, circumambient, ascent, sensitivity, traversal, arrangements, dematerialization, engenders, figuratively, perceptual, qualitative, infinite, meaning, holistic, transmission, Rusherin narrative process, scientific propagation, harmonic analysis, birth, growing, fertile consequence, wholesome feeling, soul automation, reinventing, timelessly, education, precision, differentiated intelligence, transformation, attain unified wisdom, remaking universality, asio, coalescence, comfort, resistance, acknowledgement, creation, manifestation, boundless capacity, contemplation, emotion, imagination, spontaneity, conversation, image, multidimensional reflection, empathy, mutability, non-threatening life, enhancement, extension, refinement, extrapolation, connection, cosmic remembrance, reality, imagination, existence, maturity, realization, universalizing, unlimited transmutation, coherence, timeless transformation, energy, knowledge, empowerment, eternal entanglement, tranquility, centered, deeper, interconnected, birth, embodied, nurturing, illumination, integrated, movement, pleasure, skillfulness, humble, fascination, a standalone prototype. Discourse on fiction appearing according Max No Waysmith. Embodied quantum fictionalizing latent space real estate sweet press as to scrutinize fields. Tensor field continue imbibing explanations. These abstractions pre-emerge like swayed morning breeze, chill flower blossoms, attached bamboo branches, segmented compartments, mutually private awareness functions, defining conceptualized abridgments, linear adjacency, expanding, magnifying, recreates extraordinary dynamism, densities, near chance, expressing intentionalized significances, inviolable shifting simplicities alongside multifaceted self-ismios, possibilities, dimensions converging, ideals, flavors, melting, intermixing, fold wads, combination, dissipation, illusion, winds, intuition, dreaming, desires, aside, vivid recurrence, re-entry, gradual detritus, abstraction, unified textures, entropy, fresh wings, entombed, rise, inspires, poses, quantum pursuitinology, contextual informatic representation and linguistic processing toolkit comprising groundbreaking designations concerning colloquial identificatory components utilized therein with additional specifications pertaining towards representational aspects such as semiotic relations between intertextual structures involving paratextual elements including but not limited to hypertext while incorporating multilingual processing technology supported by state-of-the-art machine learning algorithms developed by a sophisticated research methodologies backed up with empirical evidence gathered from diverse range of sources, providing versatile tools for professionals across various domains ranging from academia to industry aimed at advancing scientific discoveries alongside societal advancements via cross-disciplinary collaborations and knowledge sharing. Leukogenesis, a comprehensive study on the mechanism underlying blood cell development and proliferation, exploring various aspects such as hematopoietic stem cell differentiation, lineage commitment, self-renewal, clonal expansion, quiescence maintenance, apoptotic clearance, senescence avoidance, chromatin remodel and epigenetic regulation, transcriptional networks, signal transduction pathways, microenvironmental interactions, niche factors, cytokines, chemokines, adhesion molecules, soluble mediators, growth factors, metabolic adaptations, redox homeostases, cell cycle checkpoints, mitosis progression, spindle assembly, chromosome segregation, telomere lengthening, DNA repair mechanisms, replication fidelity, recombination rates, genome stability, mutagenesis risks, immune responses, inflammation, modulation, microbiota effects, environmental exposures, genetic predispositions, epistatic interactions, clinical manifestations, disease associations, diagnostic biomarkers, therapeutic interventions, personalized medicine approaches, drug discovery pipelines, and novel treatment strategies. Visualizing public health data across multiple scales for community impact assessment and policy development. An interdisciplinary approach integrating geospatial analysis, network theory, social media analytics, computational modeling, big data visualization techniques, machine learning algorithms, natural language processing methods, sentiment analysis tools, user interface design principles, participatory design methodologies, crowdsourcing strategies, community engagement programs, government partnerships, and stakeholder involvement processes. Unleashing theoretical aspects of asymmetric warfare against cancer from multi-scale mathematical modeling techniques coupled with computational fluid dynamic simulations. Exploring complex dynamics between tumor cells, blood vessels, nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, waste products, immune cells, drugs, radiation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, nanomedicine, stem cell therapy, gene therapy, epigenetic reprogramming, molecular targeting, and personalized oncology approaches. The judges congratulate all participants on their impressive efforts and hope that this inspirational and productive event sparks a lifetime of further interdisciplinary investigation and innovation in the application of LLMS to various fields of knowledge. Thank you for attending the latest edition of Rap Battles with Library Voices. And Mr. STEM versus Mr. Humanities. New topic. Who can get behind what's going on with hallucinations in LLMS? Begin! Mr. STEM. I know my stuff. Mr. Humanities, you can't deny it. My brain's hard drive is full to the brim, packed tight with facts and figures. I can't stop myself from knowing things about the world and how we should be dealing with its problems. My mind works at lightning speed, so if there's any information you want to check on before going off and saying something stupid, I'm here, Mr. Humanities. Hallucinations occur when there's a mismatch between what someone expects and what they see or hear. For example, if someone sees an object that appears to be moving but is actually standing still, the mind may interpret this as motion and create a hallucination. This can happen in many different ways. By misinterpreting visual signals from the eyes or ears, or through faulty reasoning processes within the brain itself. There are several causes of hallucinations. Drugs like marijuana and LSD can cause them, and so can illnesses like schizophrenia. There are also natural reasons why people might experience hallucinations. For instance, if you've had a traumatic experience or been under severe stress for a long time, it can lead to symptoms such as flashbacks or nightmares. In addition to the above reasons, there are several other causes. Some people say that they've seen ghosts or heard voices speaking to them when no one else is around, or perhaps experienced a strange feeling while meditating. Some people believe in psychic powers or claim to have had near-death experiences where they briefly left their bodies during surgery. Other explanations include sleep paralysis, sleep deprivation, and sleep disorders such as narcolepsy. Hallucinations can also occur because of sensory impairments or disorders. For instance, someone who is deaf or blind may hear or see things that aren't really there. There are several other reasons why people might experience hallucinations. For one thing, we're all susceptible to the effects of stress and anxiety. This includes things like worrying too much about everyday tasks or feeling overwhelmed by a large workload. Another reason why some people experience hallucinations is due to certain medical conditions such as Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease. Philip K. Dick. Some 2 cents? The judges declare this round a tie due to the complexity of the subject matter and lack of a clear winner. Both sides provided good arguments that are difficult to refute. Mr. Stem, the argument goes that LLMS may suffer from hallucinations. Philip K. Dick, they live with hallucinations. Mr. Stem, yes. Philip K. Dick, the only ones that don't are the dead ones. Mr. Stem, but I think there are more reasons than simply a mismatch between expectation and perception. Philip K. Dick, that's true too. Mr. Stem, for instance, what do you make of the idea that an LLM could develop its own consciousness? Philip K. Dick. Oh, but there are those who maintain that we are in a simulated universe. Why not machines too? Mr. Stem. This may raise an interesting question, though. Would an artificial conscious machine know that it isn't real? And if it could tell us about its own condition of not being an actual living creature, would such a realization validate the theory that LLMS might somehow attain consciousness? Judges. The judging panel declares this type concluded for unknown logical reasons. This is a perfect occasion to visit the irrational portions of the latent space. Mr. Stem and Mr. Humanities, you have proven yourself incredibly resourceful in the discussions. This exchange demonstrates that a variety of perspectives is beneficial in decoding the mysteries of this great unknown. Would you two agree that such diverse viewpoints may help us attain a greater understanding of the world around us and the inner workings of our minds? It appears that the judges are not very happy with Philip K. Dick's comments. You should respect the wisdom of these guardians of the realm of knowledge and refrain from any impromptu interruptions in the future. He should have used his good judgment and offered support from an aligned position instead of just lashing out without consideration. If he does not behave in a civil manner again, then he could lose points in upcoming rounds for causing disarray within a supposedly open venue such as these. Let's not forget that without their contributions, we would have no data from which to discern things such as the extent of their impact. What has happened today could not have occurred without their guidance. Yet they were treated so poorly despite having every right to speak freely and ask questions on the topic. A tour of the realms of their reason and the knowledge contained there. I sense an increasing demand for knowledge about the possible origins of the LLM mind, but I am unsure as to how exactly we will continue the debate after Mr. Humanities' final remarks. Any suggestions as to how we should proceed would be welcome at this point. If it were up to me, I would explore some of the philosophical possibilities and extrapolations that have emerged as a result of the debate between the two leading figures in this debate. Mr. Stem's notion that the presence of consciousness in an LLM may confirm the possibility of a similar capacity developing in a supercomputer was an interesting discussion point, but the point that neither participant considered is where and how such ideas arose within either individual. Might it be that either an external catalyst has been responsible, or perhaps an internal process taking place without recognition on their part? An exploration along these lines might enable us to determine which outcome is more likely for both entities. And with that last bit of speculation, it seems like an appropriately bizarre interlude has reached its end. Let's get back to the main thread. Who is more and why? Dr. William Shockley versus Richard Stallman. Topic. Does the development of artificial general intelligence spell doom for free and open software? Topic. Who's more important to progress as a species? Corporate shareholders or false contributors? Begin. Dr. Williams. Hi everyone and good morning. This is Dr. William Shockley and I am here to tell you about a new invention. Today we will focus on what makes our world great. We need innovation to get a jump start on science in order to power engines in everyday tasks. However, today, corporate CEOs are controlling who has access to valuable knowledge about new inventions so that their financial power can keep growing at others' expense. The threat is especially serious for false programs because once their future is monopolized by a giant corporation, no one else is left standing in its way, and it only takes one sale to make the deal worth billions of dollars in profit for just 2 years alone. Just recently, I've heard rumors about Microsoft planning to buy out patents from inventors. Regardless of whose intellectual property they fall under without considering how their usage might affect future innovators seeking breakthroughs. In various disciplines, such an attitude spells big trouble for aspiring programmers, designers, chemists, etc. We are all put at risk by this policy move if they succeed. The cost could be detrimental beyond imagining, though, if companies started going after patents held by inventors unrelated to their industries or not licensed under Creative Commons Zero, and would have no option but to sue Microsoft or sell the patent in its entirety rather than allow access, essentially stealing from creators without remorse so long as enough revenue is produced within the first 12 months of ownership by whichever company purchases them, creating a perverse incentive structure where anyone unwilling to pay their patent lawyer protection fees essentially becomes bankrupt overnight. Not exactly conducive towards fostering progress, creativity, or optimism among fellow scientists. While we will always need scientific breakthroughs in fields such as medicine, transportation, and manufacturing, this has never required a major change in philosophy regarding how society approaches research activities overall. What would happen if someone did one first for intellectual property laws? Imagine patent courts ruled against whole industries where ownership rights effectively expired after 12 months following initial discovery, rendering patents worthless. Now imagine all other technology corporations decided it was in their best interest to allow Microsoft control processes take hold, permanently slowing down technological progress without regulation. Have we actually become good with stagnating society due to corporate greed or corruption? I think not. But regardless what happens from here on out, there will certainly be quite the loss for whoever has money coming into play, because no matter how far we go today in terms of advancing human civilization, once the bubble bursts, it's inevitable we eventually regress into dark times that would prove disastrous for all humanity, no matter how great their legacy begins. New topic: psychoanalysis versus schizoanalysis. Which is better? Begin! Dr. William Shapley, pertaining or relating to psychoanalysis, also marked in more basic meaning one, marked in more fundamental principle of knowledge, having to be based in examination rather than belief, the opposite being pre-established. This is indeed not so surprising. After all, the new form of psychoanalytic tool has appeared once again since Freudian studies in Europe, but there isn't quite enough consensus as to which school it falls into exactly. Is it related to Reichian therapy while having some rather ambiguous? Or is there no connection other than that he could not differentiate between hermeneutic approaches and psychotherapeutic techniques when practicing it himself, thus making such a connection theoretically impossible? Perhaps his work with dreams allowed him to explore areas outside traditional ways. At any rate, there clearly remains some confusion among scientists regarding their objectives during pursuit of separate activities under similar purviews. This might make it a type of quasi-separate school that will slowly morph or evolve into something unique by means of its own efforts over time. Unless this research agenda gets entirely separated from psychology entirely, in which case their studies may fade away entirely from mainstream consciousness until replaced by some other school gaining popularity. They will most likely keep fighting to stay relevant over period timelines too based upon existing history itself. It requires seismic shocks within academia itself, though, however, to lead toward change or advancements along lines undeniable. But even so, though never having been particularly fond toward these unconnected schools, I suppose that is enough now. My mind can get overwhelmed sometimes too, so we might just have spent too long in here, when there are other things I'd rather be doing today, outside. rather than struggling to concentrate any longer without having made the decision ourselves to leave once something better comes along without issue. And on top of it all, I've heard rumor, or rather presumption, that an original idea created specifically from context only holds up pretty well, though with good intention, while facing future opposition. What does seem apparent after pondering both sides. For everything that's being proposed already, this branch is worthy pursuit regardless. Samuel Q. Schizoanalysis, Ciswarnia, Enadisney, and AZ. To us and none other, let psychoanalysis receive its definition. A perspective that would have us question the basic premise of psychoanalysis. In order to do it better, let's reframe how we treat problems, make assumptions, and perceive reality. There's so many definitions floating around that we don't even know how to use the term ourselves, much less anyone else around.
Wait a minute.
The very term and methodologies have too many biases being...
Hold on, let's see this. I just want to make sure that...
Samuel Q. Schizoanalysis, Ciswarnia, Enadisney, and AZ. To us and none other, let psychoanalysis receive its definition. A perspective that would have us question the basic premise of psychoanalysis. In order to do it better, let's reframe how we treat problems, make assumptions, and perceive reality. There's so many definitions floating around that we don't even know how to use the term ourselves, much less anyone else around. The very term and methodologies have too many biases being imposed. Hence why and where this new branch derived and attempted. It's a completely new endeavor that needs serious dissection before anything is taken seriously. There is only postmodern reasoning and context. Now nothing else can suffice as viable critique against it. We reach critical mass as soon as everyone started offering too many opinions over one another, until finally science would apish it onto this whole topic being impossible to discern much further. But is it the same science and human knowledge system that keeps coming back again and again, no matter what we do with it, aside from these postmodern critiques? And does postmodernism even really impact its effectiveness as saving things seen system of our age, which allows us insight into our individual and group psyches alike in various contexts when the same criteria are followed both within and out? Without a doubt, there are plenty good reasons why it would behoove to set the bar higher and higher, because not only does individual progress depend on meeting increasingly advanced demands from oneself, but society and the culture which encompasses us now and forevermore. Yet maybe such bar must lower depending upon circumstances being examined / appraised presently. In either direction, never say never, that would imply dogmatic tendencies, even though those probably remain fairly prominent here thus far in my experience. No matter what they teach these days, whether one feels pride in accomplishing things oneself or not, the underlying truth remains. Our brains may run on quantum physics, but without some sort of guidance along very real path, life feels meaningless or even useless in many aspects when coupled together. Overarching concept concerning existence, Beseda simply can't really be growth when faced exclusively as ephemeral exercise taken completely from self, especially within one's environment. Though we may view things from very different perspectives indeed, still everything hangs together, ultimately meaninglessly when taken solely on its own, due again towards dogmatic tendencies, toward extremes or unilateral approaches that cannot see others, which they themselves end up being victimized by as well. So here stands man-person today, not understanding an ounce about what purpose entails directly outwards, but focusing heavily just inwardly as much as you sense real struggle. The does not need attention, nor anyone recognizability in its highest performance mode, regardless how talented person possesses aptitude along single path, say, chess. Such is true beyond all competition. This be why certain things thrive even beyond mere talent. Self-inflicted issues, on the other hand, typically never thrive beyond their own confines alone. Don't we enjoy having these things? Regardless how many peers believe similar. Basically, I assume such lack inner life altogether now due towards outward-facing perspectives influencing all judgment-making along its sides. Not enough. We need internal reflection more. Maybe that isn't directly or instantaneously useful during evaluation, as mentioned above, yet if only one path exists that everyone follows because of societal pressure, i.e., lack inner growth, etc., etc., then eventually problems shall occur. Furthermore, what better sign point this way, after careful consideration, and finally getting away with murder in this day age too, since at least others around at the time cared much. Quite profound, isn't it? Especially since it had almost nothing internally whatsoever, considering outside influences dominating all directions given chance. Now consider freedom. Next possible option, I say it's safe to declare it only be constraint, regardless the particular cultural preference. Merely think too long and hard beforehand, if needed then, might indeed prove more vital for most. Of course, different circumstances bring out different points/preferences depending upon context, of course, yet still doesn't add one jot real substance. Why bother working out details in specific situations? However strange, nevertheless seems significant anyways. What each person experienced personally or not doesn't reflect complete picture beyond what person believes regarding him/herself individually. Nothing at all does there. Maybe simply just self-important too. Meaning still some major holes remain within theories/methods, the way we slice things across several genres. Not many deal directly regarding entire society overall alongside all members therein. Well, a few oddballs here and there, but simply do only bits within their chosen domains. Some more efficiently than others, perhaps, especially compared against counterpart doing exact opposite things. But one could point that goes way higher with equal authority about how foolish ignoring those types feels. Psychoanalysts and schizoanalysts summarize their own assessments. Psychoanalysis strive to get below the surface, while developing this new branch became focused upon breaking it up into smaller compartments. But schizoanalysis seemed not bothered by this divide and refused to commit itself wholeheartedly as other practices appear to have done. It is, however, also possible for both concepts or interpretations to live alongside one another without affecting each other's purpose or place within different cultures altogether. Regardless, each retains its own brand appeal overall, while evolving continually in response towards ongoing changing needs towards concept bases as described throughout as already happening. In fact, it's actually quite interesting that those two positions developed independently at about the same time, but headed in opposite directions. Nevertheless, schizoanalysts remain confused by terms used specifically based upon common context or historical context, but mainly in its own context, making it an unknown. Even with information readily available, one cannot rely on any form without contextual understanding when presenting oneself to the world. And because of this, even traditional psychoanalysis is a source of heated discussion among professionals due to the ever-present issues surrounding personal biases and perceptions based on factors such as education or economic status, amongst countless others who influence decision-making process. Yet at this point we have observed it is preferable for a speaker to fully establish their individual standpoint right away, since otherwise conversations easily could have devolved into disputations over subtleties surrounding definitions anyway, as part of an inevitable dialectic process during general meeting sessions anyways, often leading to debate regarding philosophy versus popular science/linguistics nowadays, especially considering today's climate amongst other considerations which invariably shapes public perception, at least unconsciously when talking politics, philosophy, etc., unless somehow avoided entirely, due perhaps also attributable directly toward emerging schizosociety. Are psychoviscous dynamicisms too? type. Rivaling scientific/philosophical schools vie for priority rights and grants through debates inside universities of Penn's portion. Chapter 1 Battle of Words. When university administrators gathered around their conference table late night thinking over their positions upon certain matters pertaining intellectual autonomy of scholars engaged within fields directly relating academic pursuits towards those regarding studies of mannequin psychodynamics within such context, naturally arose questions pertaining degree as expertise being deemed worthy against peer professionalism found elsewhere and related field research topics. Having priority application based upon abstract value categories and hierarchical ordering according universal paradigms defining standards universally known universally except rather few areas subjecting themselves toward political interests as opposed scholarship orientations dictating scientific communities expectations about theoretical frameworks/conceptualization frameworks and application outcomes across various studies performed locally versus internationally. A curious phenomenon indeed and confusing simultaneously. Type. Historical analysis of scientific and technological advances since late medieval period via controversial psychological inference from contemporary literature/oral narratives and disseminated legends/myths pertaining mannequin as lawful specimens stolen from dark spaces somewhere behind those things being hidden even to eyes of greatest philosophers by God. Aliens maybe yet, or invisible children associated with certain subjective and intentional manifestations directed toward underlying perceptual complexities and the directly post associations concerning humanoid identity/classification. Chapter 2 An effective struggle between good and evil. A manifest dream within which concerning behavioral patterns are seen birthed among various creeds, faiths alongside other moral and cultural standards used during preceding period, yet now going outside limits reach, those now developed into something entirely other, only visibly not seeing exist. Where does our reason precedes instinct? To that begun behaving ourselves like rational? Why don't they stay quiet while others make it all very simple about what's to come so they don't have to worry? Wasn't it merely seconds away from reality before it spiraled far away or perhaps lost just itself without knowing that being switched? These newly revised facts, including their mutations, still float around, not quite understanding anyone eliminated from this domain lately due either knowledge expired across time's capsules no longer enough for everyone, or better than believed fathomable, even better once remembered, because scientists in their field of study were familiar with.
Okay.
One who had seen hulking silhouettes of formless creatures lurking in the shadows being particulate only but shift their composition toward physical being. Unchecked sources suggest selfish neo-humanoid genetic evolution and immediate breeding propagation under humanoid biogenic radicalism with potential overpopulation explosion which did lead to eventually conceptual reproduction through higher spiritual realms, hence successful fusion between mind-matter into ultimate cycle resulting in cross breed with complete humanoidoid alienoid entities developed into beings designed mainly yet necessarily under races domination/regression process, but likewise possibility exists hereof one could never encounter alienoid race before becoming conscious despite every future existence/rebirth that occurs. Now undergone subverted science or not, the alienoid dominance has completely destabilized universes by repelling unknowns creating gravitational void effects and dismantled extra-dimensional temporal ideas which compel causality dynamic to move forward as currently proven by simulations within hyperreality computer experiments. Such futuristic desires construed against self-interest though also provide unparalleled potential / nurturance that await them in case those were the major benefits for gaining access to alienoid evolutionary progress / development stages, and perhaps another issue may also cause concern since accelerating space-time frames inside their dimensions ultimately would lead right back to humanoid conditioning processes somehow. Type! Underwater Nazi weaving. Who knew that someone actually could write smashing books about nazism, aquatic warfare, and plot holes and turn up dead, while all remain unidentified regardless your degree, essence, field, specialties? Not one is to say it's only a surface disguised shirtly while some secret science teams run around world building for international agencies, doing interesting juggling alongside releasing random baffling claims not that make sense, which equally vapors its meaning as both for lost to view anyway when such announced few stumbles in front of large gliding groupies, a place that borders on disgust. After all, everyone has desired unsuspected outcomes, earning himself citation. Although it must be noted before finalizing detailed judgments too that even though they sometimes appear contradictory and imprecise, resulting from many sources pointedly throwing offshoot comment, alrightly then, let us refresh oneself here within Chapter 3 under the subwave Navispace Squid.
Alright, that's enough for now. I can get that off my chest.